Yo, what up, what up? From HYPEBEAST Radio, I'm Manny, and this is Mic Line, a show that looks to discover the origin story of your favorite artist or major player in the music industry. We ask the questions that you always wanted to get answered, and you never know who may pop by. For this episode of Mic Line, we talked to Lotus to discuss his new album, his record label, Adult Swim, and a ton more. Welcome to Mic Line. So today on Mic Line, it's really special guest. This is someone who I've been a fan of since college. When I stumbled onto his work, just looking and downloading random stuff.
LimeWire?
Yeah.
What did that say, LimeWire?
LimeWire. I went to Rutgers. We had this little thing. What was it called? It was essentially where it's a third-party site. You just LimeWire times 2.
Nice.
I'll let him introduce himself.
I'm the illegally downloaded artist, Flying Lotus.
So I think I really got into your music because I'm a huge Adult Swim fan.
Yeah.
I've been someone that's been like watching Adult Swim since I can remember. That's where I got that's where I felt like that kind of was like everything.
They were calling you.
Yeah, that was like my brain. I was like, this is how I think, and to see that.
That's how I felt too when I first started singing. I was like, oh, you did this for me. Finally something for me.
Exactly.
You know,
So after discovering like, yo, who's this producer that's doing a lot of the bumpers, and then just like looking through stuff, and I was like, oh snap, Flying Lotus. And then I remember I downloaded your first album, and I was like, yo, this is something I never heard before. It pushed the way you think of genres, where it's just like, I can't dub this hip hop, I can't dub this funk, I can't dub this jazz. This is just something completely unique. So I guess my first question is, when creating, like, what is that process like for you, and where does that start from?
You know, I feel like my process is pretty similar to most people. You know, I kind of tinker around and find something that works. You know, I think one of my strengths might just be having a sense of all the pieces of the puzzle, you know, finding things and knowing how deep to go with layers and stuff. Because I feel like, you know, in terms of what I do, I watch a lot of people work, and I'm like, oh, well, it's a similar process, you know, but it's just the result is a bit different. I feel like, you know, I might be a bit more meticulous about sounds and noises and placement. I don't know. I can't really, my process is just experimentation. Yeah.
Which I think I just naturally gravitate to, because it's because of experimentation that's where you discover.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And because of just curiosity that just leads to something you never thought you could do.
I rarely have an idea in my head, you know, like a set thing I want to do. It's a rare thing where I'll just like at least have a thing in my head. Oh, I gotta get that out. It's always like, okay, let's go to work. What does this sound like? Do, you know, and then things happen, you know, or, you know, playing chords and stuff, and you find your way.
It's been 5 years since You're Dead. I think that album was it was amazing front to back, and it was celebrated like it should have been. Since the 5 years since then to the new album you're about to come out with, I guess tell me post You're Dead and just like why this much time passed.
That's interesting. You know, when I think about it, it has been 5 years, but I don't feel like I've been gone, really. I've been working a lot, actually. I made a movie. Yep. I did 3 soundtracks, 3 or 4 movie scores. You know, I produced for a lot of people. I produced Thundercat's Drunk album, which was a lot of fun.
Seemed like it was fun.
Yeah, that was a really special time. But, you know, when it comes to my own stuff, I felt like, you know, there was a moment there where I was kind of like, I don't know if I just want to make another album. I feel like I'm at that point where I want to focus on, you know, building visuals and music together, and that is the focus, not one and the other, like not one and, you know, I just felt like I kind of hit a place where that was really the way I needed to challenge myself at this point, because I'm not really out to impress anybody but myself, truly. You know, I want to challenge myself and grow and you know, experiment and learn new things. But I think where I ended up getting super back into just like thinking about music was when I really started focusing on piano. And then that was just like, oh, okay, there's a challenge. You know, it's like this is the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life, you know, is like really try to pursue that instrument. So now I'm just like, I'm only in music, like 120%, you know, so it might be a good thing.
What has that challenge been like? What were some of the things that I guess you went
Piano?
through? Yeah.
Do you play?
No, I wish. It's
That was me for a long time. You know, I've always kind of fiddled with it, and I wish I'd have done that like forever ago. I wish I'd have, you know, picked it up like when I was a kid. Why didn't I do that? Why didn't I focus on it?
Yes.
And that was always like the thing that was like stopping me, really. Like it was too late or something. But you know, it's never too late, and you never stop learning. And if you're like really serious about the instrument, you never stop growing in that either. So it's a lifelong journey, and I've just committed to it, you know. But it's difficult, man. it's like, you know, I was actually like I literally was in fetal position crying about it the other day. It's like, oh, my playing is so terrible. Why am I so shit? Yeah. You know, it was like, I really was that person, literally. I was like, I'm actually in the fetal position right now. You know, but I'm fully in it.
It's crazy because I was talking with friends, and they were like, a buddy of mine to teach himself how to play guitar. And he's like, it's so much difficult and a different experience learning an instrument when you're an adult than
I don't believe it.
Why did you say that?
I think that, well, first off, I can't allow myself to believe that because of my situation.
Yeah.
But I believe that people say that because they don't really remember things when they're a kid. They don't remember the time that things took when they're a kid. You know, now we're way more aware of ourselves and the time we spend doing things. But I think when you're a kid, you know, you don't really know what you want. You don't really know. So you might learn in a more aimless way, I think. But I feel like because I'm an adult and because I have years of experience in all the other aspects of music too, that it's allowed me to kind of take to the instrument a little bit quicker. And also I have a bit more of a trajectory than I think just, you know, a kid who's just like, hey, you know, I know what I want to play. I see myself doing certain things, you know, I know that already. So I think my time spent practicing is way less aimless. But I don't know. What do you think?
To me, I'm very much a optimistic thinker. So I just think like, if you put your mind to it, you can do this. You just set the time aside,
Yeah.
and just actually, you know, accept the failures that come, because you're going to mess up, you're going to fall, and so it's going to happen. So just like when it happens, learn from it and just keep on going.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing about my situation, which is unique, is that, you know, I don't get the opportunity to be whack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like everybody's gonna like expect me to be pretty decent, you know,
That's true.
the day out, you know, like just being real, you know, like, you know, it's not gonna be cute if I'm out there crunching, you know, I can't get my scales together. You know? So like I got a little extra pressure on me, which is cool. But at the same time, I have, you know, some of the greatest teachers on the planet, like in my texts, you know, like I'm talking to Herbie Hancock, you know, he's like showing me finger exercises, you know,
crazy.
And Dennis Ham and all, you know, Brandon Coleman, all these people who are around me, and, you know, Thundercat being my best friend, it's like, you know, I have like a theory coach, you know, in a way too. You know, I learn a lot from just, you know, it's been a bit of a faster track, I guess. You know.
One thing I'm curious about, because you do like a lot, and also you touch a lot of things. Like you said, in that 5 years, you produced Thundercat, you put out a movie, you worked on a bunch of soundtracks. How do you juggle everything while also being a label head? Like, how do you?
Well, I have help with the label, and I have a lot of help generally around me. I have good friends, good talented friends help me out, but I'll say, I guess my social life takes a hit, you know, because I just be at the house, man. I just be at the house working.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't have it any other way, really. So I don't know.
We'll say, like, from the outside,
I want more hours, man. I want to do more in the day. You know, like by the time 6 o'clock comes, I'm like, oh man, that's it. That's it. Because by then I'm so damn high. We like, you know, I get like, with my fingers going, I can't do nothing. I'll just sit here, play some video games.
Nice. For the new project, I guess you said you started to focus on music after you learned the piano. How did the new album form? Like, when that process looked like? When did the name come to you? When did the collaboration started happening?
I actually, a lot of these songs are a bit old. Like the Solange song is the oldest. I think one of the oldest. That and the Anderson song, the two. There were some of the older tracks. But I never stopped working, you know, so it was like things that have been kind of building up. It's just sometimes it takes a while for things to reveal themselves, like what it's supposed to be, like what actually am I trying to say? What does this body of work say? You know, instead of me trying to guide it, like what is it showing me? You know, like, well, oh, we're going there. Okay, this is what it's supposed to be, and it takes as long as it did. You know, I had, you know, felt like I liked the name Flamagra for so long, but I was like, is that really it? Is that really it? Is this really the thing? Is this what I'm trying to say? All right, I need the time to step away. Do I still love you a month later? Do I still love these tracks? Is this still what I need to say? I go through that, and I try to allow myself time for that moment too.
Yeah. Time is something that that's to me is like the most important thing ever. Like time is the most important currency.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think when I see artists sometimes they don't utilize time, or they put time in the back burner. Whereas like I just recently like artists, they sign somewhere and now they're on the clock, you know, and or they just don't understand like to use that time to sit back and just to look, especially now in the streaming area, that everybody wants to consume everything so quickly. Yeah. That it just feel like just put out a body of work and just see what happens. But from you, I really always get like you understand time and understand the art of using time effectively.
Sure.
I guess I want to talk about that. We're just like, do you think time is something that artists should be investing more into?
I can't speak for anyone else really, but in that world with the time thing, man, I'm all about it. You know, I'm very mindful of how much time I spend doing things, especially now, you know, even with practice I mark all my practice time, everything, just because, you know, ain't nothing promised, you know, and we want to make sure we're spending our time wisely. But in terms of, you know, I'm not really in a rush to do anything. You know, I'm not really in a rush to put albums out. I'm not really, obviously, you know. But I think at this point, though, all that being said, like I don't feel, I don't know how if I feel time is like waiting is always the way, but I also don't like bum rushing people. Yeah. I think people, you know, maybe we should, you know, kind of, I don't know, give the things the time to grow and figure if that's what we really want to say. You know, I do at least. You know, I really, more than anything, I want to be kind of like, when I look back at my discography, I want to be like, okay, yeah, all right. I don't want to be like, ooh, why did I do that one? Ooh, get that one out of there. I don't want to do that. You know, you know, I have a couple moments that I'm not too fond of already, but you know, you know, what can you do?
Yeah. I enjoyed that Brainfeeder is home to some of the most unique artists in music. How does the artist catch your eye, or just or what do you see Brainfeeder as?
Yeah, exactly what you called it. I see it as a home for the other people, the other kids. You know, it's it's in terms of like what catches my ear. I want to hear stuff and be like, oh man, I wish I made that. That's usually a good sign right there. It's like, oh man, why didn't I think of that? That's a cool idea. That's a cool sound. You know, that always gets me. Usually the music kind of just falls in my lap. I have some good friends around and be like, yo, have you heard? That's usually how it starts. And like, no, send. You know, where am I going? What is this? But you know, I'm also kind of seeking things. I'm not like super actively, because we already got a lot of artists, you know, but you know, if it stands out, you know, I can't turn off, especially, you know, if I see a vision, if I have a vision for something and I feel like I can help this person, or I can, you know, help shine a light on a situation, you know, I would love to. Nice. Usually. When
you say other kids, what do you mean?
The other kids, just, you know, the alternative crowd, you know, the kids who are pushing more music that's a bit more cerebral, I guess, and just a bit more thoughtful, thought-provoking, challenging, you know. I feel like, you know, everyone else has got the pop stuff sorted out. You know, they got that figured out. Everyone's got the trap thing sorted out and locked. So let me do the other stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
I definitely noticed, like, especially over the last couple of years, that all the pop stuff and stuff that used to be this huge thing and people just go to whenever and consume, it's starting to get lesser, and more artists or more people who are making the more meticulous music and just thought out music it started to become sought. Like people are looking for that.
I've noticed that. Yeah. There were, people were telling me, "Oh, you're not gonna be so underground this time around. You're not so weird now." Basically, which is cool. I think obviously the internet has helped kind of turn everything into a big puddle, a big old messy puddle, which is great. I love that. I love the fact that kids can appreciate pop and the stuff that I do, and some of the more eclectic Brainfeeder stuff or whatever they can. I've also noticed on the reverse is that some of the old heads are like who are like just exclusive backpack hip hop from the '90s people. Like now they're getting into all the other stuff. Oh man, I checked out Cardi B. I like that. It's like cool, good for you. So it's cool. It's cool. I think it's nice that all the walls are kind of coming down in that way, and it's all about just who's making the best stuff.
Yeah, I guess a news that really hit me was that Red Bull Music Academy.
I know, man. I know.
So, and I wanted to talk to you because you've been a part of that since like early.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
And like this institution to me, because it's so special, because that's where you see a lot of the other kids or the alternative, or just these independent artists who are making amazing music, but without like the backing. And so when I read that it was about to end, I was heartbroken. So I'm just like, I've seen so many of my favorite artists because of them. When you see that happen, I guess what comes to mind?
Yeah, when I first heard the news, I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. Damn. And then a week passes and you're like, whoa, wait a second. Like the reality sets in. It was like it's huge. Their impact on culture and art is, I think underappreciated, and but for me personally, they've done so much for me. And I remember in the early days, I was always looking for the catch, like what are they gonna ask me for, a year from now? Like what do they really want? And it never really came down to that. And I'm really grateful. They invested a lot into my career personally, not just, putting on cool shows, but they helped fund my show. They helped me build my Layer 3 show, and they're the first people who took me to Australia. I went and I connected with so many people there, and a lot of things, a lot of people I met, a lot of awesome opportunities came from that. They put billboards all over the world with my face on them. It was awesome. And it sucks that it's over, but with all those things at end, you just hope that someone will pick up the slack and see that as a template, and try and do something even better, hopefully.
Drunk was one of my favorite albums when it came out. The album still gets plays for me to this day, and I'm always curious of like, it was just such a great team. It was just symmetry at its best. Are there other artists who you like, I guess, itching to work with or itching to do something like that with, or if you're not currently on?
Yeah, there's two people who get the all access. And what I mean by that is like, if they're like, yo, man, I need you to get on a plane right now. I'm in Korea, yo. Get on a plane, please. I'll get on a plane.
Nice.
There's two people I could think of. Well, three. But working with Kat has always been special, because a lot of times we don't have to say anything. We just end up just when we work, it's like when he comes over to work, it's like we're at work. It's like we're going to work the hour we're clocked in. We're gonna go until we can't go, and we run out of ideas. And that's like, at least twice a week. So I don't have that relationship with anybody else, though. There are people who I would love to work with in that capacity, but that's a real unique situation. And I don't think it's just about music. We got like a real trippy ass connection, man. It's like real weird.
What have you learned from him?
A lot. A lot. I learned a lot from him. A lot of weird random things too. A lot of weird random things. He reminds me to be a better listener. That's for sure. And one good one though, and I always tell this story, so if anyone's ever heard it, sorry. It's my Lady Gaga, one person in the room.
One
story.
person in the room.
One person who believes in you.
That was such a good video too.
This is my moment. But this it works because I'm wearing the shoes too.
Nice.
So Thundercat and me, we got super hyped that they're doing the Dragon Ball Reebok or whatever, Dragon Ball Adidas shoes. Like, all right, we're gonna get our joints, we're gonna get them all. We're gonna get all the shoes, we're gonna get them all, collect them all. So we got the Gokus. I think he got his the day before I got mine. He came through with them on like a random Tuesday. He came through to the crib, got the Gokus. I'm like, oh man, you got the Gokus. All right, you just gonna wear them on a Tuesday at the crib? You just today like that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh. He's like, yeah, man, you can't always be waiting for the special occasion. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, that's why I do that, huh? He's like, it reminds me, every day is a special occasion. And we can't just wait for the good day to bust the shoes out. We gotta treat every day like it's special, and that's something that he made me think of, and it's I'll always think of it now, because I'm that guy who waits, So I have so many things in my closet I haven't worn because of that. It's like so many dope pieces that like the seasons passed. It ain't cool no more. Like certain things. I got a whole bunch of that stuff.
Nice. I guess, which is a perfect segue because as a fellow fan of Adult Swim, I guess some of your ranking shows that if you could, or like in your Mount Rushmore.
Mine, I'm gonna be controversial here. I don't think Rick and Morty is gonna be in that list.
Ooh, okay.
But if it is, it's gonna be at the lower side of it because I think Aqua Teen Hunger Force is number one. Number one in the hood, G.
Yeah. Like so many hours watching that.
Yeah. And the best thing to me is like after like maybe 2 years goes by and I ain't seen it in a minute, and it's like, oh yeah, number one. Back to the beginning, watch them all over again, and it's like they're so absurd you forget how you forget the plots. Because the plots don't make no sense. It's just like they're all new again. Like, wait, did I see this one? Like, maybe. No. Yeah, I definitely saw it. So yeah, that big fan of early C-Lab, of course. Man, there's too many. There's a lot. I like some of the weird stuff that didn't last long, like Perfect Hair Forever. I love that. Yeah. Assy McGee, that was cool.
McGee was great. That was really good.
Metalocalypse, of course. Yeah. That's the one to revisit all the time as well. There's too many.
I'm trying to think.
Frisky Dingo, that was a trippy one too. That was good. That didn't last long either, but that was good.
What's the
Tim and Eric?
Tim, yeah.
Come on,
Tim
man.
and Eric was great.
Tim and Eric, yeah.
I'm trying to think some others. I really got into where's it? The dog that's a devil dog.
Oh man, yeah, Mr. Pickles.
Mr. Pickles.
That was good too.
That was
Super Jail.
Yeah, Super Jail. Super Jail was amazing.
Super Jail was amazing. Like classic animation, like hand drawn styles.
I was like, that came out like a couple of years later. It probably would have got longer run, but that
went on for a minute.
Super Jail was one of the best shits I ever seen.
Yeah, it was always impressive too. That at the end episode they always had, it was just like a mad scene of just like impossible animation.
Exactly.
It was just really dope.
I'm trying to think what else really I got into. I love Pretty Little Face.
Yeah. That's Pretty Face Going to Hell.
Yeah, Pretty Face Going to Hell. I was like, yeah.
That's good. That's some good stuff there.
I was like, yeah, I go back to that like every time I get. I was like, yeah, let's watch
it.
Yeah,
then Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Rick and Morty comes in.
I think the Rick and Morty fans made the show more annoying.
Yeah.
I think. It's like, it's dope, but is it that dope?
Is it the best thing in the world?
Yeah. I don't know. I like it though. I do like it.
Nice. And I guess my final question is like, I guess two things. I guess what's next that you haven't ventured to do yet? I'll start with that.
The next thing.
What's the a next adventure for Flying Lotus?
Jazz trio. Jazz trio with me on the keys.
That would be crazy.
That's the trajectory right now.
Nice. And then last question is, for anyone listening who's a young producer, what advice would you give them if they ask you?
Play. Learn how to play it. If you don't play now, learn play. It's because it ain't ever too late, and it will just only when people ask me now about, oh man, what do you do when you have beat block? What do you do when you go learn some new chords, man? Like it's infinite. There's no reason to be out of ideas. You should be learning how to read. Learn how to read music. Then a whole other world opens up to you. So yeah, get your theory and your fundamentals.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Pleasure.
Well, that's today's episode of Mike Line, and thanks for tuning in. You can listen to more episodes of Mike Line and everything Hypebeast Radio at hypebeast.com/radio. Subscribe to Mike Line on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, or wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at ECM_LP and follow Hypebeast Music for more original content. Let us know who you like to have on the show, and thank you for listening to Mike Line.